Well, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome to our video of Venus in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra and what happens when Venus is in the sign of Pisces, and especially between the 3.20 degrees to 1640 degrees of Pisces zodiac sign, which is the realm of Uttara Bhadrapada, which is the realm of Arya Banu, the protector and the ruler of this nakshatra. And so what happens when Venus dives into these deep dark waters of Uttara Bhadrapada? Well, we're going to find out, at least some of it. Now, as always, if you do not know where your Venus is placed, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, and especially what nakshatra pada it's in, along with all your other planetary details, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction Aspects, and Mahadashas at the Speed of Light, including all my consultations at this link. So, let's talk about Venus in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So, Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra is a nakshatra that is controlled by the deep sea serpent known as Arya Banu. And this is the serpent of wisdom. This is the serpent of taking you deep into the consciousness. It is the serpent that is standing at the gate of eternity, the gate that opens you up to the cosmic enlightenment, to cosmic intelligence. As much as we think that us getting our engineering degree and PhD and science and discovering the cure for cancer and discovering an Earth-like planet out there, we are superior to our own ego. We are superior as a human being. Once you cross the gates, once you enter, pretty much you enter the gates of Arya Banu, and Arya Banu, the snake, lets you in. That's when you realize you didn't know nothing. You're stupid. If that's the most simplest way, I would have to put from human intelligence to cosmic intelligence is human intelligence is simply stupid. Pretty much stupid. Let's just stick to that. I don't want to be nice. Okay? I'm in a good mood. I don't want to be nice. So now you're putting Venus here. You're putting Venus in this nakshatra. Now what is Venus? Well, Venus is a truckload of things. But mainly Venus represents spouse, marriage, business, or partnership. Not business, or it can, but mainly it's partnership in business. It's unionship, romance, love, devotion, and especially our love of devotion. Devotion to something, perhaps our lover, our wife, our ex, God, whomever, our children. Venus represents your ability to love. See, that's a beautiful thing about Venus. If you just want to know, how is this person capable of loving something? Do they get attached too quickly? Are they not attached at all? Do they have some issue with loving something? Are they always seeking the outer boundary for love? Look at their Venus. The way Venus is how it shows how a person will experience love and will get love and will give love. So now you're putting Venus here. And Venus also represents arts, media, creativity, creative self-expression. So one thing you will see is that your spouse will be the type of person, especially once their Rahu matures. Okay? Or I would say between Saturn and Rahu maturation, which is the age of 36 and the age of 42, you will see that they become extremely eccentric, introverted. They become spiritual, cosmic, linked, ecstasy with them. But there's a big shift that happens with Uttara Bhadrapada Venus. Not Moon. See, Moon is different. Moon will have you experience Uttara Bhadrapada from the beginning with the different qualities. With Venus, it becomes different. So Venus represents what your spouse is. Okay? But mainly, and obviously Venus can represent you as well. in certain cases, you know. So this person will love being secluded, isolated, away from this human intelligence that we call ego. Oh, this person's a president of this country. Ooh, this person is a physicist. Don't mess with them. Ooh, this one is a Nobel laureate for mathematics. They pretty much are gifted this password or this backstage pass to go beyond the gates of Uttara Bhadrapada, of Aryabhanu. And once Aryabhanu lets them in after a certain age, they're like, oh my God, what was I doing? What was I thinking? What was I following? No, forget all this. This is true intelligence. So your spouse will suddenly have this urge at one point in their life where they're going to want to become spiritual. They're going to want to open the floodgates to know God, to know oneness, to know the consciousness, to realize that they are simply a drop in the ocean, where the drop itself is saying, oh, I'm separate from every other drop, but they're not. Like, these people realize that all the people that they see suffering on television, whether it's somewhere in India, Somalia, or people in Holocaust, they realize that I am linked with every single one of them. They perhaps were my relative at one point. They were my mother's, father's, brothers, sisters, lovers at one point, and they're suffering. I realized that. And I want to change it. And these are the people who will deeply be involved in humanitarian work, philanthropy work, wanting to save people. Why? Because even if they cannot think as deep as me, they somehow always feel like, why is it that I am attracted to the pain of other people? Why is it that when I see suffering, I want to give all my money to these people? Like, see, here's the thing about Uttara Bhadrapada people. They're born, like if you have Venus in this Nakshatra, you're a very lucky person. You're a very lucky person, at least in terms of good karma. So your spouse is going to be an absolute blessing in your life. Now, obviously, I do not know what planet aspects your Venus, conjunct your Venus, how your Venus is in Navamsha and Dwaradamsha. But just in the birth chart itself, we can see that you tend to always attract people who are very real, mystical, and very, very much philanthropian, carry this philanthropian persona. They want to do something for the world. And this is why what happens with Venus and Uttara Bhadrapada, these people can get tremendous amount of money, huge amounts of money. But once they realize, once there's this tick that activates after 36, that what am I, who am I, and why am I here, they tend to not care about the money. So what happens is this intelligence that, okay, I got my degree from the top university and college. I'm intelligent, I'm making this money, okay? And this is the intelligence that they possess to a certain age. And after a certain age, they're like, oh no, there's far bigger levels, far higher levels, far more intelligent, intellectual level that world, this universe resides on and operates on. I need to get to that. But what happens with this, just like the sea serpent, Aryabhanu, has to come to the surface and breathe. You know how whales come up to the surface and breathe? Alligators, they go deep and then they come up and breathe and then go back down. Same thing happens in the life of the Venus Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra person. They have this intention to really be very cosmically awakened. They will do the meditation, they will do the, vipassanas and Kundalini awakening. But they are forced to relate to the world. They're like, okay, I cannot be isolated. Let me connect with the world now. Let me devote myself, because Venus is devotion. See, moon will not operate in this manner. Venus is devotion. So one has to find devotion towards the real world. That, okay, I know I'm awakened. I know what this whole matrix is all about. Let me now come to these real people with lesser intelligence and let me just try to help them maybe. And what happens with Venus, because Venus represents luxury, fine foods, wines, they do express themselves materially. Like the best example I can give is somebody like Osho Rajneesh. I'm not sure. So I mean, I've seen gurus who completely, like defame him. I've seen gurus and spiritual teachers who say he was like the devil and the evil. I don't care, it's their opinion. This is just my opinion. I don't even know the truth, okay, that, to be honest. But I'm just giving an example how, let's say for example, Osho had his Kundalini awakened. He had his third eye awakened. Osho actually knew more about nakshatras than anybody I know. Osho was, if you watch Osho tapes on nakshatras, not even, he's talking about astrology, but he's talking about nakshatras. He's like, Jyotish, Indian astrology is nothing but nakshatras. And he's talking about how this nakshatra is doing that. I mean, my God, this man just knew everything. Okay, but even him being enlightened, he had a, what they call, Patek Philippe and Rolex watch. Like if you ever watch his videos, like, when he's sitting on the chair, you see this silver watch. It's either Patek Philippe Calatrava 5960. Don't ask me why I know the model, because I'm just crazy about watches. And the other he wears is the Rolex Datejust, the 1970s version of the Rolex Datejust. It's like 36 millimeter. And then you see his clothing. Some of his clothing are made from pure silver. Some of have 24 karat gold lining. He had Rolls Royce. But because of the fact 90% of his life was about this knowing thyself, spirituality, he focused on that. He just came to the real world and just was breathing. All right, time to go back into my darkness. Because remember, the deep sea serpent, Aryabhanu, is about darkness, hidden things. So your spouse will behave in a certain way. This is why you'll be like, I can't understand my spouse. Okay, he's materialistic, but then he wants to go to Vipassana, but then he wants to buy himself a Bentley as well. Let them do it. Why not? Who says materialism and buying something that you want is bad? If it's bad, I mean, why does it exist? Okay, many people be like, oh, alcohol is bad for spirituality. Oh, meat is bad for spirituality. What I know in the past year about spirituality and gurus and enlightenment, let me just tell you, to probably 99% of you, you guys don't know nothing. What I have experienced, what I have understood, what I have learned from some of the people that came into my life in the past 1 year, year and a half, stop it. Shh. You don't know nothing about spirituality. Once you know, then talk. But the thing is, once you know, you will not even talk. That's the thing. But anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Venus in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Now, obviously, based on the house and the pada that Venus is in, we can see a whole lot. But one thing I can say is that Venus in Uttara Bhadrapada becomes visually very aware. Visually a philanthropist. Like Venus in Uttara Bhadrapada person will be like, I want to draw, I want to paint, I want to design something, construct something, but I want to invoke the consciousness of people. I want to give this message. So those artists with some political message, religious message, spiritual message, message for animals' rights, will have this type of a Venus and this nakshatra activated somehow. Okay? So anyway, guys, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. Again, if you want to know where your Venus is placed, all my books, reports, consultation, my nakshatra readings, for that, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.